Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashur Copy Paste. If you're here for the first time, please make sure to subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, don't forget to like and share our videos. Don't forget the comment section down below is all for you. You can always paste or drop a link, for sure we'll get back to you. My dear brethren, today we are going to continue with Light Upon Light by Dr. Shabir Ally. Early Muslim view on the Bible. I repeat, early Muslims view on the Bible. Remember, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and if you're already a member of this YouTube channel family, please don't forget to like and share our videos. Don't forget the comment section down below is all for you. You can always paste or drop a link, for sure we'll get back to you. So let's get it, let's go.
Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Now, Dr. Shabir, I wanted to ask you, how did early Muslims view the Bible? And we'll use this dissertation that you have in your hand, and a recent dissertation that you think is very important. So tell us about what this dissertation is about.
Yeah, this dissertation is by Ryan Schaffner from Ohio State University. It's just recently published, 2016. Of course, that's a few years ago, but
yeah,
still.
Not that recent.
Yeah, that's true. But, it'll take time for this to be published in the form of a book and for it to be more widely known about and recognized. It's entitled The Bible Through a Quranic Filter, Scripture Falsification. That is tahrif in Arabic, in the 8th and 9th century Muslim disputational literature. It's a long title, title plus subtitle, but let me unpack it. So the Bible through a Quranic filter. So what the author has in mind here is that he's looking at the way in which the Bible has been seen by Muslims through the Quran as a filter. Meaning that Muslims are not just simply accepting the Bible as it is, but they use the Quran as a filter through which they will accept what comes from the Bible. So not everything, but what passes through the Quranic filter. Second,
what aligns with the Quran then?
That aligns with the Quran, yeah. So the Quran then is going to allow certain teachings of the Bible to flow through, but not everything to Muslims. And so he's looking at the idea of scripture falsification or tahrif in the 8th and 9th century disputational literature, primarily literature written by Muslims to begin with, but also he looks at literature that were composed by non-Muslims, by Christians in particular, because he wants to see how Christians understood what Muslims were saying about the Bible. So
it's a very thorough work.
Yeah, it's a very thorough work, and you can see that it's a very involved thesis. It's 400 pages long, and the author himself says, what I wanted to prove by this is so obvious, but I didn't think it will take 400 pages to prove it. In fact, he said he started out from the opposite direction. And in the course of his studies, he was converted to the idea. So what is the opposite direction? He says that for a long time, since Goldziher, more than 100 years ago, the academics in the European and English-speaking world tended to think that the earliest Muslims did not believe that the Bible was changed in terms of its text. They spoke about tahrif, which is an Arabic word which means to change something, but they said that Muslims had the view early on that Christians and Jews misinterpreted their texts. So the Muslims then were speaking about the problem of tahrif al-ma'na, the change of the meaning. But the presumption was that the text is still intact, the text of the Bible, that is. And it was Ibn Hazm from the 10th century or 11th century who advanced a critical approach towards the biblical text, trying to prove error and contradiction in the text of the Bible. And following Ibn Hazm, the Muslim scholarship tended to go in the same direction of thinking that the text of the Bible is corrupt. But the earlier view was that the text is intact and only the meaning has been corrupted, meaning by way of interpretation. And it was then the Muslims' duty, it would seem, to correct that misinterpretation by offering a Muslim interpretation. What Ryan Schaffner has proven, on the contrary, is that when we look at the works of Muslim scholars from that period, from the 8th and 9th century before Ibn Hazm, we can see very clearly that while they are selecting verses from the Bible and using those verses in arguments, they are not necessarily saying that they consider the entire Bible to be intact. They're just talking about these verses that can be used as proofs to advance certain Muslim teachings. And even so, when they select verses from the Bible, they're not taking them as they are in the Bible. They often modify the verses in order to give, to bring out the sort of Muslim meaning that they wanted to emphasize. So as a quick example, if one were quoting the Lord's Prayer, which says, "Our Father who art in heaven," they would not retain the word Father in that verse, because such filial designations for God does not fit within Muslim theology. So they would change that in some way to, speak of our Creator and Sustainer, the Lord, or something like this, so as to not just maintain the text as it is. And that obviously indicates that the Muslim scholars were not considering the Bible as being intact in terms of its texts, with only the meaning needing to be straightened out. But they thought also that the text somehow had become changed so that it is no longer a Muslim text. And the obvious thought of Muslims is that the original must have been a Muslim text, or a text that is compatible with Muslim theology, but the present state of the text is not.
So, Dr. Shabir, why do you think that Schaffner's thesis and his conclusions, his findings, are significant?
Well, I think it's more than significant, Sophia. It's a game changer.
Wow.
Yes, because for a long time, the academics and the apologists for other faiths were saying to Muslims, look, you have to listen to our scripture, because your book, your Quran, says you have to listen to our scripture. And they said, if we look at the verse of the Quran and we say, well, wait a minute, this verse seems to indicate that the text of the previous scriptures has been changed. They would say, no, your early Muslim scholars had the view that the text was intact. And it's only later Muslim scholars, such as those who came, like Ibn Hazm and those who came after him, who said that the text is also corrupt. But the text is intact, and that was the view of your early Muslim scholars. So when you look at a verse of the Quran, don't go interpreting it to mean that the text of the previous scriptures has been corrupt, because look at your early Muslim scholars. They said it was not corrupt. So this is a game changer, because it shows from the writings of the early Muslim scholars that, in fact, they also considered the text of the previous scriptures to be changed. And while they were using it in a manner that does not emphasize that view, that is only because they were trying to, have dialogue with people of the other faiths. And you don't go into dialogue by criticizing the text of the other faith. You use it to the best that you would be allowed to use it in order to bring out the points that you wanted to make. So the one additional point I would like to make about this is that when Schaffner surveys the writings of Christians from that period, he finds that the Christians from that period, in their literature, are speaking as if it is very clear to them that Muslims believe that their text is corrupt. So they're trying to defend against that charge and saying, no, our text is not corrupt. But they're defending not against the Muslim accusation that they have misinterpreted the text, or at least not only that accusation. They're doing that too, but they're also defending against the accusation that their text is corrupt. And that just solidifies the argument of Ryan Schaffner that when Muslim writers were speaking about the other texts, they obviously considered the other texts to have been changed also in terms of the text, not only in terms of the meaning.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope this lecture will help us one way or the other. Remember, please, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, don't forget to like and share our videos. Don't forget the comment section is off for you. Should it be that you have any question for us, feel free to write or drop. For sure, we'll get back to you. See you on the next episode on Light Upon Light. Stay safe.